Hello everyone, so a special package has just arrived. I want to say thank you so very much to Cricut for sponsoring today's video. They have sent me the Explore 3 and I'm super excited to share with you how easy it is to set up and to do the first cut. Before we head up to my craft room, I thought I better make a tea because we know once we're up there or down there, we get lost with our time and sometimes it's just nice to have a tea on hand. Bring that upstairs and then we're going to grab the Explore 3 and go up to my craft room and set it up. I'm super excited to see how this machine cuts and share with you some DIYs, and hopefully it inspires you as well to craft. The one thing I learned as you walk here into my craft room, you'll see that the Cricut Maker is on my workstation. And you do not need to be an advanced crafter to use the Cricut machine. That's the one thing I absolutely love. They send you a few sample sheets so you don't have to be afraid to cut and waste stuff, because at least they're giving you that. The machine is super sturdy. Don't be afraid to play with it or lift it. It is very durable. It won't break, I promise. So I'm going to pull it out of its box here and I'm going to show you that it comes with the adapter and also a USB port plug-in. You can use wireless connection to your computer, but you don't have to. And also just be mindful that it does not work with a Chromebook. That's the one thing I have learned. I use a MacBook and it's compatible with that as well. I'm just super excited to share with you the color of the Explore 3 matches some of my bits and piece accents here in my craft room, and I just thought what a coincidence, but it perfectly matches. So I was excited about that as well. It's a pretty color. And it's got like a plastic cover. So again, there are two cables. You do not need to use the USB. You can just stick to using Bluetooth. I like using USB. It's just been a habit of mine. So I'm going to plug in my USB and then the adapter. So this will just go into the wall unit or into a power bar, of course. So you got the two ends and that's it. Always give the back of the machine about 25 centimeters from a wall, just because the vinyl does feed in and out and it needs some clearing space. I'm going to plug my USB into my computer, and then also look at this. It has two compartments, which I just discovered. I know sometimes you just find things after a while, but it has a magnet strip, or metal I should say, in the inside. So yeah, magnet, and you can attach little metal attachments. We're going to make the first cut and I'm going to show you how easy it is. First, you're going to go to cricut.com/setup. Also wanted to share with you the sample pages they sent us. Smart vinyl, which does not need a cutting mat. They have transfer tape in the package, an iron-on smart vinyl, and also a sticker sheet, which I'm kind of excited to play with. We're going to the setup page. It loads up, and if you don't have Cricut Design Space app, it will ask you to download the Cricut app on your computer. I already have it, so I'm just uploading the smart cutting machine. We're going to choose the Cricut Explore 3. We already made sure we had space. We plugged in all of our things, but see, it even tells you all the steps. You cannot mess it up. We're going to power up the machine. It tells you what buttons to press, and there aren't very many. As you can see there's only 4 buttons. And then you can connect it either with the USB or Bluetooth. I chose USB, so it's going to look for the Explore 3 and connect. And we are activated. So now we're going to do our first cut, and they've sent a paper for us to cut a smart vinyl page. But before that, make sure all of the connections are made here. So I just pulled it out and recentered it just to make sure that it hadn't gotten loose in transportation, but I don't think it did. And then you insert your vinyl sheet. It's smart vinyl, so it doesn't have to be attached to a mat, and it's going to cut. The one thing I really love about the Cricut as well is it speaks with the computer. So the computer kind of gives you a heads up, but it also flashes. The little buttons always flash, letting you know, hey, press this one or press that one. So that's the one thing that I really appreciate. And then when the project is complete, you'll get 100% complete on your computer. And then again, a flashing button that lets you know what's the next step. So here's the Cricut vinyl cut. I'm just going to weed it out. We're just going to use a weeding tool made by Cricut. I absolutely love this tool. I use it for randomly when I'm doing crafts in my craft room. I find I gravitate and grab for it if I'm needing to poke something. So this here also is a community online on the Cricut Design Space. As you can see, there's step-by-step guidance. There's so much help available for you on the Design Space itself. You can download courses, on-demand courses, resources, but there's also Facebook groups, YouTube. The nice thing about the Cricut community is we are always willing to help, to motivate, inspire. There are so many people out there with so much knowledge that you can tap into a wonderful community. So I wanted to go through the process of using Design Space and creating something here at home. And I'm using one of the totes made by Cricut, which is compatible with infusible ink. And I'm using infusible ink sheets. And this galaxy print really inspired me to create a book bag, my book bag or my book tote, and I just love the design here. So now the one thing is you don't want to have lotions on your hand or any type of grease. Make sure your hands are really well washed. And I'm using the Cricut brayer to press down the sheet firmly to the standard grip and make sure all the corners are down. And now in the meantime, I'm actually going to get my Easy Press 2 heated. Wanted to share the plate is 9 inches by 9, but they also have a 12-inch, I believe, by 12. So just make sure that the surface you're going to adhere is going to be covered by the surface of your heat press, because you don't want to do it in sections. Want to go to the Cricut website for the heating guide. It will let you know exactly how many seconds you need to properly press something and what heat. And so I'm going into Design Space and I'm selecting through the Access. I actually have a subscription, but you do not need to have a subscription. You can create your own designs in Design Space. You can import SVGs. So do not feel like you need to spend a subscription fee. I just like having the convenience of already access to other creators' designs and also Cricut's designs. So here you're going to select the infusible ink sheet and make sure you actually select more for the pressure. I just did default and realized after doing this project, I should have gone with more pressure when the Cricut machine was cutting. So you can hear the machine here. It's not very loud at all. And also, I love how it flashes again and tells me, hey, hey, choose me, pick me. See how easy it is? And then the image is cut and it's ready to be taken off the mat. So I'm going to flip the mat over. I always find it's easier to remove things this way, but you can do whatever works for you, right? It's just so that it doesn't roll up the sheet. But I'm actually going to cut out my image. Make sure you don't cut over the image. And I'm going to save some of the infusible ink for future projects because there's lots left over. I'm going to roll the sheet, hoping to loosen up some of the cuts, and then I'm going to weed out the image. This is going to take some patience, so make sure you have some time and patience. That's the one thing I always recommend. So the image had to be mirrored, and that's one key thing that I don't think I mentioned, because of course you're going to heat pressing it down so that the ink infuses into the material. And I felt like my image was a little off balanced with some of the more blocky style on the books, so I'm just cutting out a little piece here and sticking it down, so I feel like that's a little more balanced. So first I'm going to heat up the tote. So again, 385 for 15 seconds. That's what was recommended online, so I'm just going to follow the instructions. And now you're going to press down the image with the ink facing down. You're going to put your butcher paper that came with the infusible ink sheets, and 385 for 40 seconds. This is what it recommended with a little bit of pressure, which means one hand. You don't need two hands. I'm here just holding down with two, but you can really just use one. And then you're going to see that I covered the entire image with the plate of the Easy Press. And you're just going to pull back, and it's really hard to see the colors here because it looks black on screen, but I'll share with you a different angle just so you get a view. And then again, I had the mat and a piece of cardstock inside so that nothing would transfer through. So here you can see some of the color, and here in a little bit better lighting. I just think it's such a pretty bag. Hope you enjoyed spending some time with me in the craft room today. And if you're looking for a Cricut machine, I highly recommend you look at the bundles, because then it will come with some supplies and will make your crafting adventures a little bit easier. Until next time, everyone, bye for now.